My dad died 10 years ago. Last week, he sent me a friend request. I was halfway through deleting spam friend requests when I saw it. Tom Reynolds wants to add you as a friend. My thumb froze over the screen. That was my father's name. Same profile picture, too, the one from his obituary. The same smile, the same navy blue sweater with the faded Chicago Cubs logo, except that photo wasn't supposed to exist online. I'd taken it, on film. 10 years ago. The account had one friend. No posts, no background photo, just that familiar face smiling back at me beneath the timestamp that read "Joined Facebook" 3 days ago. I told myself it was a scam, a deep fake, a bored troll using a dead man's name, but curiosity is poison. So I clicked accept. The second I did, my screen flickered, just for a heartbeat. Then a message popped up. "Dad, you finally answered." I laughed out loud, a nervous, dry sound that didn't feel like mine. Okay, I thought, some sick joke. So I typed back, "Who is this?" For a few minutes, nothing. Then the typing bubble appeared, flickered, stopped, flickered again. "Dad, it's me, kiddo." He used to call me that. Kiddo, never son, never Eli. The nostalgia hit harder than I expected. But the rational part of my brain kicked in fast. My dad's dead. Stop messing around. The typing bubble came back. This time, the reply took longer. "You saw me that night." I froze. The night my dad died was the last thing I ever talked about with anyone. Not the police, not my mother, not even therapy. He'd fallen asleep on the couch watching Jaws. I went to bed. When I woke up, he was gone. Heart attack. Quiet. Simple. Tragic. But I had seen him that night, because just before I drifted off to sleep, I heard him whisper something from the living room. Soft, urgent, almost like a prayer. And when I peeked down the hallway, he wasn't looking at the TV. He was looking at the window. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. "What do you mean?" The reply came instantly this time. "You weren't supposed to see me after." "After what?" "After I left." A chill crawled up my spine. "Where did you go?" "Same place you're headed." I slammed the app shut. I couldn't breathe. This wasn't just some scammer. They knew too much. The phrasing, the tone, the exact words my father would have used. I turned off my phone, tossed it on the nightstand, and tried to shake it off. But lying there in the dark, something felt wrong. The air was heavy, almost charged, like the air before a storm. And from somewhere outside, through the cracked window, I heard a sound I hadn't heard in 10 years. A low hum, steady, familiar. The old recliner chair creaking back and forth. My dad's chair. I told myself I was imagining it, that it was just the neighbor's rocking chair, the wind, anything else, until I smelled it, the faintest hint of cigar smoke. My dad's brand, Macanudo Cafe. I hadn't smelled that since his funeral. I got out of bed, heart pounding, and went to the window. The street below was empty. But on the porch, in the exact spot where his chair used to sit, there was smoke. A thin wisp curling upward, lit by the street lamp. No chair, no figure, just the smoke. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. I didn't want to check it, but I did. "Dad. Active now. You still can't sleep without the light on." I looked around the room. The lamp was off, had been for hours. The light that filled the room wasn't coming from inside. It was coming from outside, soft, blue. I turned back to the window and saw him. He was standing across the street, right beneath the street lamp, wearing that same navy blue Cubs sweater, same jeans, same face. But it wasn't quite right. His skin looked too smooth. His head tilted slightly too far to one side, as though something inside was trying to remember how to be human. He lifted his hand and waved, slowly, then smiled. That same gentle, tired smile I used to see every morning before school. "Hey, kiddo," he said, and even through the glass I could hear it, exactly how it used to sound. I stumbled back from the window, hitting the wall behind me. My phone buzzed again. "Dad, come outside. I can't come in." That one sentence, "I can't come in," was enough to make every nerve in my body scream. Because when I was little, he used to say that to me whenever we played monsters. I'd hide under the blanket, pretending the hallway was full of ghosts, and he'd whisper from the doorway, "Don't worry, kiddo. They can't come in unless you open the door." I stared at the front door now, my chest tightening. Outside, the porch light flickered once, twice, then the knob turned. Slowly, once, twice. A single, quiet knock. Tap, 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 then a message. Dad. It's cold out here. I wanted to scream, to run, but I couldn't. My legs wouldn't move. The doorknob turned again, and from the other side of the door, my father's voice. "You left the light on, kiddo." The bulb above the door went out. Darkness swallowed everything, and from behind the door came a whisper, soft and careful. "It's cleaner this way." The next thing I remember is waking up on the floor, sunlight spilling through the window. The door was still locked. The air smelled like smoke, and on my phone, one new message. "Dad, see you soon." The message had a timestamp, 3:03 a. First, that was the same time he died. I knew because it's printed on his death certificate. I'd seen it too many times while handling paperwork, while sitting in that cold, sterile funeral home, watching them zip up his body bag. 3 a.m. I dropped the phone onto the floor, trying to steady my breathing. My apartment was bright with morning light, ordinary in every way, and yet it didn't feel right. The air had that heavy, aftershock stillness, like a room that had just stopped vibrating. On the coffee table, my dad's old photo frame faced the wrong way. I hadn't touched it, and when I picked it up, the glass was fogged from the inside. I called my mom. She lived 2 towns over and hadn't spoken about my dad in years. Her voice sounded tired when she answered. "Eli? You okay, honey?" I didn't know how to start. "Mom? Has anyone tried to contact you lately? Pretending to be Dad?" Silence. Then, "You too?" Those 2 words froze me. "What do you mean, too?" "I got an email last night," she said, "from his address. I deleted it." "What did it say?" Her voice dropped to a whisper. "It said I can come home now." I felt the blood drain from my face. She sighed on the other end. "I knew I shouldn't have opened it. It was probably spam. You know how these things—" "It's not spam," I said. "Eli, don't start this again. He's gone." "I saw him," her breath caught. "Don't say that," she said sharply. "Don't ever say that." Then the line went dead. I sat there for what felt like hours, staring at the phone, at the fogged picture frame, at the door that had stayed locked all night. And then, at exactly 10:00 a.m., my computer turned itself on. No notification, no sound, just the faint glow of the monitor. The screen was blank for a few seconds, then a single folder appeared on the desktop, Dad Home. I didn't open it right away. I just sat there, watching the cursor blink, daring myself to move. Then I clicked. Inside were videos, dozens of them, each one labeled with a date, spanning from 2009 to last week. The first one was named March 18th, 2009, Basement. I hit play. Static. Then my father's face filled the screen. Pale, sweaty, eyes red-rimmed. He was sitting in the old basement, the one I hadn't been in since the day he died. "If you're watching this, kiddo, I didn't make it out." My breath caught. "I thought I could stop it. I was wrong." The screen flickered. Behind him, the walls of the basement pulsed faintly, like something was breathing through them. "It started with the sound," he said. "I thought it was in my head." But the more I listened, the louder it got. He looked straight into the camera. "They're not gone, Eli. They never were. They just learned how to use the static." Then his head turned sharply, eyes wide. "Don't open the window." The video cut to black. My hands shook so badly I almost dropped the mouse. Every instinct told me to shut it down, to unplug everything, but something about his voice, that mix of fear and love, kept me there. I clicked on the next file. March 20th, 2009, living room. He was pacing now, talking fast. "They mimic sound. They learn through repetition. That's why they need connection." He grabbed something off camera, held it up. A phone. My old phone. "They live in the signal, Eli. Don't answer." The video ended. I slammed the laptop shut and pushed back from the desk. My pulse was racing, my throat dry. The apartment felt smaller. The walls were buzzing, faint, but definitely there, like the low vibration of a power line, constant, pulsing, matching my heartbeat. I unplugged the Wi-Fi router, yanked the cables from the wall, turned off every electronic in the apartment. The buzzing didn't stop, it got louder. That's when the lights flickered, once, twice. Then the TV turned on by itself. White static filled the screen. No sound, just that flickering glow painting the walls. I took a step back, and then a face began to form in the static, faint, stretched, pixelated. My dad. He was mouthing something. At first I thought it was "help me," but then the sound came back, a deep mechanical voice layered with static, and I realized what he was saying. "Let me in." The air turned cold. My breath fogged in the room. "Let me in, kiddo." He was smiling now, but his mouth didn't move right. It lagged behind his voice, jerky and unnatural. I shouted, "You're not him!" The static flickered violently. "It's cold out here." I grabbed the remote and threw it at the screen. The TV exploded in sparks, the sound cutting off instantly. Smoke filled the air, then silence. For a moment, I thought it was over, until my laptop chimed. It had turned itself back on. The same folder was open, all the video files were gone, replaced with one, elihome.move. The file size was increasing, rapidly. It was recording me. I slammed the lid shut, yanked the plug, and ran outside barefoot into the freezing street. When I looked up, the streetlight above me flickered once, twice, then went out. The air filled with static, and from every phone, every car radio, every window around me, a single voice echoed. "You finally answered." I remember running until my lungs felt like glass. The street blurred past, each step echoing off the empty houses like I was being followed by my own shadow. The static didn't fade. It followed me. Every lamppost, every passing car radio, every buzzing streetlight whispered the same. Low tone beneath everything. That low hum, the one my dad used to make when he'd fall asleep in his recliner. It was the sound of home. Now it was the sound of something crawling closer. I ended up at an all-night gas station on the edge of town. The kind of place that looked like time had forgotten it. Flickering fluorescence, cracked tile floor, one bored cashier behind bulletproof glass. He barely looked up when I stumbled in, barefoot, clutching my phone like a weapon. "You look like hell," he said. "Yeah," I panted. I think someone's following me." He raised an eyebrow. "Cops?" "No," I said, voice breaking. "Something else." He stared at me for a long second, then shrugged and pointed toward the corner of the store. "Camera's fake," he said. "If you're running from someone, you picked the wrong hiding place." But I wasn't running from someone. I was running from the signal. I ducked behind one of the aisles, trying to calm my breathing, and pulled out my phone. The screen was black, but faint light bled through it like veins beneath the surface. For a moment, I thought I saw movement, tiny ripples, like water disturbed by sound. Then the screen lit up. New message. From Dad. I didn't open it. I didn't want to open it, but the notification wouldn't disappear. The phone vibrated again. Harder this time, then again and again. The sound filled the air, a low, vibrating hum that made the glass refrigerator doors shake. The cashier looked up from his crossword puzzle. "Hey, pal, your phone's freaking out." I turned the screen toward him. "It's not plugged in. The phone started ringing." He frowned. "You gonna answer that?" "No," I said. "No, I can't." The ringing stopped. Then the gas station's radio crackled to life, even though it had been off the entire time. A voice came through, layered with static. "Eli." The cashier blinked. "That your name?" I didn't answer. "Come home, kiddo." The cashier's expression shifted, from annoyance to confusion to fear. "It's warm here." He stood slowly, backing away from the radio. "What the hell is this? You pranking me?" "I told you," I whispered. "It's not me." The lights flickered overhead. The hum deepened. Every screen in the store, the lottery display, the credit card reader, even the digital clock lit up with the same image. My father's face, pixelated, flickering, smiling. "You shouldn't have run." The glass doors began to shake violently. Bottles clinked on the shelves. The hum became a roar, vibrating through the floor. I shouted, "What do you want from me?" And then, all at once, everything stopped. Silence. The lights returned to normal. The cashier stared at me like I just dragged a hurricane through the door. He whispered, "Man, whatever that was, it's gone." But it wasn't. Because when I looked at the security mirror above the register, my reflection wasn't alone. My father stood behind me. I spun around. Nothing. When I looked back, his reflection was still there. Closer now. The air smelled like cigars. "You left the light on." "Kiddo." The words came from behind the glass, not from the speakers, not from my phone, from him. "It's cleaner this way." The reflection smiled, and then, slowly, the glass began to crack. Lines spread outward, spidering across the mirror until the entire surface pulsed like skin stretched too tight. Then, a single hairline fracture split the reflection right down the middle. Something black leaked through it, thick, dark, and humming. The hum filled my skull. "You brought me back." I grabbed the baseball bat by the door and swung at the mirror. It shattered, glass spraying across the floor. The humming stopped. For about 5 seconds, there was perfect silence. Then every screen in the store lit up again. But this time, it wasn't my father's face. It was mine. Hundreds of me, all whispering in unison. "He's not done." "Cleaning!" the cashier screamed. The lights went out. Something hit the back of my head, hard, and then nothing. When I came to, I was lying in the middle of the street outside the gas station. The sun was rising. The doors behind me were gone. The whole building was gone. Just a patch of dirt and dust where it used to be. And beside me, on the asphalt, sat my father's lighter. Engraved on it were 3 words, "Always come home." I picked it up, my hands shaking. The hum was gone. The air was still. I should have left it there, but I didn't. The second my thumb flicked the lighter open, the flame sputtered to life, blue, cold, wrong. Inside the flame, a reflection formed, my father's face smiling. "See? You never really left." The lighter went out, but the reflection didn't fade. It stayed, hovering above the metal, whispering, "You're next, kiddo." When I dropped it, the flame reignited on its own. It burned in a perfect circle on the ground, brighter and brighter until the asphalt began to ripple like liquid. And from within that burning reflection, I saw my living room. The same couch, the same lamp, the same window I'd looked through the night he came back. He was there, sitting in his recliner, watching, waiting. It's almost clean. The reflection swallowed itself, and the fire went out. I was left standing in silence, holding that lighter that shouldn't exist, that hum still echoing faintly in my bones. I looked down at the engraved words again, "Always come home," and in the reflection of the metal, just beneath the surface of my own eyes, I saw him smiling. The hum started again, low, familiar. "Welcome back." "Kiddo, I didn't go home after that. I couldn't. Every instinct I had screamed that stepping back into that house meant joining him. So I drove. No destination. No plan, just the highway unspooling in front of me. I told myself if I kept moving, maybe whatever this was would lose me, like bad cell reception fading the farther I went. But static doesn't need signal. It is the signal. And by the time I hit the state border, it was following me again. The hum, low, rhythmic, threading itself through the car's engine. It began around midnight. I'd been driving for hours, the world outside reduced to headlights, rain, and the faint blur of trees. The radio was off. The air was stale. Then from the speakers, a voice whispered softly, almost lost under the sound of the tires. "You forgot to turn off the light, kiddo." I nearly swerved off the road. My heart hammered so loud it drowned everything else out. I turned the ignition off mid-drive, letting the car coast to a stop on the shoulder. The voice didn't stop. "It's cleaner this way." It was my father's tone. Calm. Patient. The way he used to talk to me when I broke something as a kid, but it wasn't him anymore. Flung the door open and stumbled out into the rain. The cold shocking me back into focus. I screamed at the car. "You're not him!" Lightning flashed, and for a split second, I saw a reflection in the driver's window. He was sitting in the passenger seat watching me. Then the light was gone, and so was he. I ran. Not down the road, into the woods. The forest swallowed me in seconds. Branches clawed at my clothes. Mud sucked at my shoes, but I didn't care. I needed to get away from that voice. I didn't realize how far I'd gone until I saw a light through the trees. Faint. Flickering. A cabin. I don't remember ever seeing it before, and yet something about it felt familiar. Like I'd been there before. The door was open. I hesitated. Listening. Nothing. Just the soft patter of rain on the roof. Inside, the air was warm, and on the table, under a single flickering lamp, sat a tape recorder, old analog, my dad's handwriting on the label. Eli, play me. I should have left. I should have run, but I didn't. I pressed play. Static. Then his voice. If you're hearing this, it means I didn't stop them. I froze. They don't live in one place, Eli. They live in frequency. Every time you hear them, every time you remember me, you tune yourself closer to where they are. My throat tightened. Dad, don't talk. They're listening. The sound warped. His voice deepened, stretched. They need a channel. They need a signal. They used me first. Then the house. Now. The tape whined, warped, and then cut off mid-word. Silence. Then a different voice. Now it's you. The lamp flickered violently. The hum was back. Not from outside. Not from any machine, but from the walls. The wood itself vibrated. Dust falling from the beams, and then, through the static, came my father's voice again, layered and distorted. You left the light on. Kiddo! I grabbed the recorder and smashed it against the floor. The tape popped out and rolled beneath the table. When I bent down to grab it, something caught my eye. A photo frame, lying face down under the table. I turned it over. It was me, sitting in that very cabin, smiling, next to my dad. The floorboards groaned beneath me. The hum grew louder, rattling the windows, shaking the lamp until it fell and shattered. Shadows rippled across the walls, not moving with the flicker of the light, but on their own. And in the middle of the room, a shape began to rise from the floor, wet, gray, human, my dad, or what was left of him. His skin looked like static, flickering between solid and transparent. When he spoke, his mouth didn't match the sound. It's almost clean. I stumbled back, shaking my head. You're not real. You died. You let me in. I didn't mean to. Intent doesn't matter, he smiled. The same smile from the photo, from the videos, from every memory I ever had of him. They can't cross over without a link. You made it strong. The floor began to ripple again. A dark circle spreading outward from where he stood. Inside it, faint reflections shimmered, faces, places, moments, every memory I'd ever had of him. He reached out a hand. Come home, kiddo. I backed away until I hit the doorframe. You're not my father. No, he said softly. Not anymore. But you could be. What? They need a new signal. I realized what he meant a moment too late. The humming grew deafening, pressure building behind my eyes. You heard the sound. You carried it. You shared it. He took another step forward, his form flickering, voice echoing from every direction. You're already transmitting, I screamed, clutching my head. The sound wasn't in my ears anymore. It was inside me. It vibrated in my chest. My bones, my teeth. I felt my vision fracturing, the room dissolving into static. He stepped closer. Now, inches away, the hum peaking into a single, unbearable tone. Almost done. I dropped to my knees, and the world went black. When I woke up, I was in my car, engine off, rain gone. The lighter sat in my lap, still warm. My phone buzzed once beside me. New message, Dad home, I. Opened it, a single video file. Eli, final transmission. I pressed play. My face filled the screen. Smiling. Hey, kiddo. The video kept looping, my voice getting clearer with every repeat, each one a little more distorted, a little less human. Hey, kiddo. Hey, kiddo. Hey, kiddo. The hum started again, louder, stronger, and beneath it, faint, almost gentle, came his voice. It's your turn to keep the signal alive. I dropped the phone and stumbled out of the car. Behind me, the headlights flickered on by themselves. For a second, the beams projected against the trees, and in that light, I saw a silhouette, my father standing in the rain, smiling. See you soon. The headlights dimmed, the hum faded, and the forest went completely, unnaturally still. I thought it was over, until the radio inside the car switched on, and through the static, my own voice whispered, You finally answered. For 3 days. I didn't move. I stayed in that car on the side of the road, afraid that if I turned the key, if I touched a single button, I'd feed the thing that had already learned how to speak through me. The hum was still there, faint and low like a heartbeat I couldn't silence. It wasn't outside anymore. It wasn't even in the radio. It was inside me. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw flashes, the static, the cabin, the faint reflection of my dad's face melting through mine. And somewhere in the background, always that voice, almost clean. By the fourth morning, I realized I wasn't alone. The road had been empty for hours, but when the fog rolled in, shapes started appearing in the distance, figures, standing still. At first, I thought they were trees, until one of them moved, a slow, jerky shift of the head. And then I saw their faces, or rather their lack of them. They were blanks. Smooth skin where eyes and mouths should have been, but each one hummed, low and steady, like a broken speaker running. The same frequency, I recognized the sound. Instantly. It was the same tone from my father's recliner, the same sound from the videos, the same hum from my bones. We found you. The words didn't come from their mouths. They came from everywhere, from the ground, the fog, the inside of my skull. You opened the signal. Now it's your turn. I bolted from the car, running into the trees. The fog thickened around me, muting everything except the humming. It grew louder, closer, almost rhythmic. I didn't know where I was going, only that the forest felt familiar. Every tree, every path, every shadow. Then I saw it again. The cabin, standing there exactly as it had been, though I knew it had burned in my memory hours ago. Light spilled from the cracks between the boards, and beneath the door, smoke. Something inside me broke then. Curiosity or desperation, I don't know which, but I walked toward it. The closer I got, the louder the hum became, syncing perfectly with my pulse. By the time I reached the door, my whole body was shaking. The knob turned on its own, the door creaked open, and there he was, Father, sitting in that same recliner, cigarette between his fingers, smiling, like none of it had ever happened. "Hey, kiddo," he said softly. "You look tired." My mouth went dry. "You're not real," he chuckled. "If I'm not real, why are you here?" The light from behind him flickered, blue and sickly, shadows bending around his form like static waves. "I don't want this," I whispered. "I didn't mean to open anything." "Intent doesn't matter," he said, echoing the same words as before. "You heard the sound. That's all it takes." He leaned forward. His face changed. No longer flesh. No longer bone. It looked like a signal collapsing in on itself. And behind him, through the flicker of the static light, I saw something moving. Thousands of faces. Blurry, gray, half-formed, all whispering together. "It's almost clean." I stumbled backward, hitting the door frame. "Why me?" He smiled sadly. "Because you listened." The hum deepened. The walls began to vibrate. He held out his hand. "It's not death, Eli, it's transmission. You become part of the signal, forever." "No," I said. "You died. You don't die in the signal." He rose from the chair, the light behind him brightening until his entire form dissolved into static. When he spoke next, his voice came from inside my head. "You keep it alive." The room began to split apart, beams cracking, the floor buckling beneath my feet. I ran, crashing through the front door, into the forest again. But the world outside had changed. The trees were gone. In their place was water. Black. Still water, stretching endlessly in every direction, and beneath the surface, faint blue shapes flickered, faces, hands, all turned upward, whispering the same words over and over. "Join us. It's cleaner this way." I turned around. The cabin was gone. Only my reflection remained in the water, pale, trembling, eyes wide, and behind my reflection, faintly, his, "You already did." "Kiddo!" The hum rose, louder, thicker, vibrating the air. I fell to my knees, covering my ears, but it didn't help. The sound wasn't around me anymore. It was me. It had been for days. "You're transmitting," my father whispered. "They're listening." The water started to ripple outward from where I knelt, concentric circles spreading across the black surface. I saw faces forming in the waves, neighbors, strangers, even the gas station clerk, all humming in rhythm, and above it all, one voice cut through. "We hear you, Eli." Then faintly, echoing from somewhere deep beneath the surface. "Almost done!" I opened my mouth to scream, but what came out wasn't my voice. It was the hum, pure, deep, the sound of every transmission that had ever come before. The sky flickered like a dying screen. The water rose, swallowing the trees, the air, everything. And in those final seconds, before it all went white, my father's voice came again, soft, calm, almost proud. "You did good, kiddo. It's clean now." I woke up in my old living room, the same couch, the same flickering lamp, and the same smell of cigars. For a moment, I thought maybe it had all been a dream until I saw myself in the reflection of the window, sitting in my father's recliner, smiling, cigarette. Between my fingers, the hum filled the house. Low, continuous, almost comforting. My phone buzzed once on the coffee table. A notification, new friend request, Eli Reynolds. The profile picture loaded slowly, a perfect mirror of mine, smiling, alive. "Hey, kiddo," the message read. "You finally answered." For a long time, I thought that was where the story ended. Me in my father's chair, staring at the ghost of myself smiling through the glass. But endings don't exist in the signal. There's only continuation, only transmission. And on the 7th day, the hum changed. It became something new, something alive. It started small, like a heartbeat behind the walls. I'd gotten used to the sound by then. It had a rhythm, a strange comfort, almost like breathing. Then the rhythm shifted. It began to sync with the lights. Every flicker matched the pulse. Every dim glow matched an inhale until I realized the house wasn't just humming anymore. It was listening. The air thickened around me, pressing on my chest. I tried to stand, but the recliner wouldn't let me. The leather felt sticky, like it had grown into my skin. The hum rose an octave, vibrating through the floorboards, and the photos on the wall began to move. Not like a glitch, not like a trick of the light. The people inside them were shifting, turning, and they were all looking at me, every single one. I tried to look away, but one photo stood out. It wasn't supposed to be there. It was me and my father, standing outside this very house, both smiling. Except I didn't remember ever taking that picture. I leaned closer. The details sharpened. The window behind us reflected a third figure, tall, formless, humming faintly, and beneath the frame, etched into the wood, was a single word: transmit. My phone lit up again. I hadn't touched it in days. No messages, no apps, no signal, just that single. Empty home screen until now. New video uploaded. He's home. I didn't upload anything. The thumbnail was black. I tapped it. Static filled the screen. Then my own voice. "Hey, kiddo." The image flickered. Me, sitting in the recliner, cigarette in hand. But the camera slowly panned down, and beneath the chair, where my feet should have been, the carpet moved, breathing, pulsing, alive. Then came my father's voice, faint behind mine. "They're not gone. Eli, you just joined them." The image zoomed closer, until the screen went black. When it returned, it was a live feed. The camera wasn't on my phone anymore. It was on me, watching from the corner of the room. I threw the phone across the room. It shattered against the wall. The hum grew louder, more frantic. From the broken phone, light spilled out. White, then blue, then something in between. It spread across the carpet, up the walls, through the ceiling, and within it, faint shapes began to form. Faces, not human, pixelated, melting, shifting through different generations of people I'd never seen. He's ready. He's home. Clean signal achieved. My father stepped out from the light, fully formed now, but his eyes weren't his. They were mine. He smiled. "You see? I told you it doesn't end. It just passes on." He knelt beside me, voice low, almost kind. "You're the transmitter now. But don't worry. You'll be proud." He pressed a cold hand against my chest, and the hum stopped. Completely. For the first time in what felt like forever, there was silence. I looked around. The photos were still, the air unmoving, the light steady. I thought I was free, until I realized what had replaced the sound. Whispers, thousands of them. They came from the floor, the walls, the air itself. "Can you hear us? Tell our story. Transmit. Transmit. Transmit." I clutched my head, screaming, but my voice came out distorted, layered, mechanical. The room shook. The walls began to dissolve into lines of static. Through the distortion, I saw flashes, other people, other homes, other screens, all glowing faintly blue, all watching, all listening, and every one of them had my father's face. "You see? It spreads." I ran to the window. Outside, the world was gone, replaced by an ocean of static, infinite and alive. The sky flickered with faces, people I'd never met, all repeating the same line over and over again. "Hey, kiddo. Hey, kiddo. Hey, kiddo." Their voices blended into one endless tone, and I understood. Finally, what the hum really was. It wasn't death. It wasn't haunting. It was continuity. The bridge between signal and flesh. And now it was my turn to carry it forward. I turned back toward the room. The recliner was empty. The lighter sat on the armrest, burning with a blue flame that didn't cast a shadow. Inside the flame, faint reflections shifted. My father, my mother, the blank-faced people, all fading into one another. Light it. Eli, they whispered. Keep it clean. I picked up the lighter. My reflection smiled at me before I did, and when the flame touched my fingers, the hum returned, deep, resonant, endless. Not from outside, not from within, from everywhere. The walls, the light, the flame, the air, my breath, everything was humming, everything was transmitting. Almost done, my father said softly, his voice carried by the signal itself. Almost done. That was 3 nights ago. Now, every time someone opens their phone in the dark, every time a radio crackles without reason, every time a voice echoes from a dead number, that's me, passing it on, keeping it clean. If you hear it, that low hum beneath your favorite song, that whisper that sounds too much like your name, don't answer. Don't look for where it's coming from. Don't listen, because the signal always finds its way home. And once you hear it, you become part of it. Hey, kiddo, you finally answered. The end.